Hello everyone. Sorry I'm running a little late. Just a couple minutes or so. It's been a long day. I didn't sleep the best and then had a nap and had to recover from that while making dinner. So it's just been a bit of a movement. Hey Skipper, welcome back. As you can see, we got a little bit more done on yours. Uh, after you had to go and after you had to go last stream. But all that's left really is to go through doing colours and putting in shading. Oh dear. Of course I did something. I'll quickly change that. Those tags. No one saw anything, I'm sure. The the problem is now that the VOD is going to be called that, so I'm going to have to go and edit that after. Right, well, let's start. Let's start with the grey bits. I'll get the steel in. We need 71797E. And because Summer's attack on me continues unabated, this one I'm going to have the window open, so I apologise in advance for any cars, planes, trains that might go by. There's probably an easier way to do this. Actually, let's start with but new layer, get another sheet of white. Fill that in. Then we go back up to the line art, select. Do we have all of the little sections? I don't believe there are. This is rare. There's a character that doesn't have any little gaps between their limbs and the space around them. Right. Hey, Full. We should be. We'll be continuing on with Giselle for now, but if I can. But if I can get enough done, then we may be able to make a start on Briar today. No promises, but that is the next one on my list. Select, expand those just by a pixel to get them under the line art layer. Now I have to go back and check over here to make sure it's grabbed it all. No, it has not. It's all those. Now I'm going to try and avoid making the mistake I saw earlier today, and I already missed one. That wasn't the mistake I was worried about making. I don't want to accidentally put all of the colour on the line art layer. Just grab in there because for some reason this system continues to anti-alias despite my best objections. Oh, I didn't. I got the order wrong, didn't I? Yes. Expand that first. Then go over it. Then. And this is just, of course, getting the base kind of steel look down. And we'll have to decide what we want to do with these other colours. I was going to stick with the fairly vibrant pink for the flowers, but I'm not sure what kind of metal to use for the hammer. Oh, actually, no, the hammer's stone. How at least the head is. For the cloth. Do we have any color preferences from Don as to what colors to use on the cloth, or is that hidden in the description? I'm a bit frazzled today, so I may be missing obvious things. To check that. They mentioned leather, but not much yet. All right. Well, I'll get the bits that I know done first, and then decide those last few colors. Mm. Oh, that's very incorrect. Oh, these are going to. I may just do these manually. This is a lot to select my way through. Well, let's get ourselves a decent rose pink. And I'll go with one of the lighter tones to vary this up. D A B B 5. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah, these. I think I'll darken this just a shade actually. Seven. Just a little bit darker. Add that little bit more vibrancy to them. And then I'll be doing my shading. I may try out what I can do with the shading. I've been keeping it fairly simple with all of the promotional stuff. Otherwise, how is everyone? How are you all doing? You know my situation. Tired and confused. Pretty good, just vibing as forwards and just playing Fable 3. I've never played I've played I think part of one of the Fable games. I think Fable 1, but it wasn't mine and I never played them after. How's Fable 3? I think I know. I think I heard about that when it released. How is it? and well, glad to see you've got some time to just relax, Don. Very slow, admittedly. Yeah, Fable 1, it seemed like it had a bit of a steady start. I think it was. I'm not even sure if it was Fable I played. It may have been another thing, Haven, but I can't remember now. Hey Demi, welcome to the show. I'm putting pink flowers on someone who probably has not seen pink in her entire life. But then I haven't quite decided what fruits actually do grow in the dens. Still stuck in the medieval peasant mindset, rather than whatever might be in that climate, which may be the same things a medieval peasant is used to. I don't know. I have to do a little bit of thinking at some point. I don't usually. Oh, that's forgot. I forgot my own. I forgot the shape of my own flowers. 3 is a Fable game since it's a direct sequel to 2, with you playing as the child of the protagonist of 2. Right now, Viva la Revolution, though about halfway they introduce an eldritch horror to fight against to fight after taking the kingdom. 3 is the least, I guess, coherent with their story. Yeah, I think that's the one I've heard bits about. Then the sudden the darkness or something coming to take over the kingdom. I think. Anyway, Demi, how are you? How are you doing? Get this stuff back here as well. I am actually uncertain if Giselle will end up on the commission sheet, I not because I'm unhappy with what I've done, but because my methods have already evolved ever so slightly since starting this piece, and so some of the lineup is a little bit rough. Uh, 2 has yeah, the auto mod just caught you there. Oh, it just caught you there for one moment. Mm. It the auto mod still gets a bit zealous. Anyway, 2 has one antagonist, and despite the boss battle being the most anticlimactic shit ever of all time, at least it did a lot for the story, since they do a lot to show why this fucker sucks. You, the funny thing about the auto mod there is that it didn't mind you saying shit, but it did eject to you calling, it did eject to you insulting that antagonist. Auto mod stands Fable 2 apparently. And then we'll colour that. Then we'll shade that a bit, and that'll make it look snazzier. What am I looking for? Oh, the images. Brown hair. Right. getting the colours on the head make it add a lot of the immediate life to a character. So we'll go with this one. 3, 2, 3, 1, 4. Too dark. 38, 2, 5. That'll do. Fable 2 is great, but definitely make the final boss fight a fight instead of what boils down to a cutscene where you have to shoot them, and if you don't reaver, the smug Diaz will shoot him for you. That's akin to the not taking the limit prompt at the end of one of the Final Fantasy VII or whatever it was. Just the game plays it for you. Yeah, boss battles are a notorious thing if you they can be well, at least they can be a fairly notorious thing. Like the one that I always remember is the Bioshock 1 final boss. That it was okay, but it was a fairly marked departure from how everything had gone to up to that point. Some games just don't suit the boss mechanics. Though I'm guessing Fable probably had previous bosses that were fine. It was just the final one that was problematic. What's wild is the rest of the game is fairly solid for a 360 era and plenty of decent bosses. Yeah, that's where I was expecting that to go. Oh, that one that line unexpectedly came out as I hoped, without even trying. Though you might get a kick out of Fable 2 because depending on your build you can vary a lot in appearance, same with morality. Maybe. I have a few things to be playing at the moment, getting through a few series to catch up on as well. I want to finally properly get through watching Mushishi, because I'm still only about a quarter of the way through that and I never got very far in the first place. I want to same with Fire Force. Is that? God, that's weird. Because same with Fire Force and Shield Hero, because they made those exclusive. They made those Crunchyroll premium only before I could finish watching them, which I am a tad salty about. If nothing else, I hope the next Fable game brings that back. Since in 3 they decided to dumb it down a bit, probably because they wanted to keep the protagonist pretty. That's quite possible. It's also possible that they were just the focus was elsewhere other than than the than how the protagonist could be shaped that way. There's definitely been some simplification of character creators in the industry recently. Oh, I know what I need to do. I'll do that once I've gotten most of these into place. I'll change the background and go around to make sure I'm not missing any little white patches. Like I can see a couple already, but it's quite hard to see white through other colours, interestingly enough. Mm, less a creator and more than adapter, but that still requires just setting up all the evolution and such. Mm. If you build based on strength, you can become a brick shithouse. Skill can make you taller and faster, and will gives you magic veins and eyes. Yeah, yeah, that's. I I don't know. I think sometimes it is just found harder for whatever reason. Uh, really need to get the games I 100% enjoyed on console on PC. Yeah, I want to get I've been constantly debating getting God of War on PC because I really enjoyed that game. But that's money, which I have very little of. I'm small and have no money. Also evil gives you horns and good gives you a halo. Yeah, the halo puts me off. I'll be perfectly honest. I like the horns. You can take a glance at me and tell that I prefer horns. Um, and I want to bully someone into Deep Rock Galactica with me on Xbox, but Microsoft made that a bit weird. Yeah, I. Does Deep Rock Galactic have crossplay? It probably doesn't, right? Oh, hang on. Oh, that's irritating. Um, yeah, that's very silly because I have the Steam one. I don't have the App Store one. Mm. Kind of want to play the new Starship Troopers game. Yes, that looks very fun. I need I need people to play it with, but that looks a lot of fun. Mhm. Oh, I know what I should be doing. 1 second, everyone. I realized what was missing from this, and I'll try and keep it low. Let's on let's put on their lo-fi music. Oh, loud, loud. No, thank you. Okay, that has to be really quiet before it's manageable. Oh, let's stay a little bit of pink just here. You can't get it on Steam and do crossplay. It has to be from the App Store, and I don't know why they insisted on this specifically. They probably, well, I'm not sure. But, mm. Well, I don't know, perhaps some agreement with, probably just to do with the an agreement with Microsoft. Because if they had an understanding to set up crossplay with them, then Microsoft possibly might have said, no, only do it on our platform. What's wild is that it's the only game to do this. I'm I couldn't say why the developers or why Microsoft did, but companies have been getting quite greedy, well, openly so as of late. Sure, people are already aware of the whole thing that went on Reddit. Rise, Rise is that was that Rise Son of Rome? That one, the the Roman Batman. Oh, Monster Hunter. Uh, hmm. neither games I have played. It's just my brain went Xbox, and I thought Rise was one of the flagship titles on that was mostly just a showcase. But if it were consistent across the platform, I'd probably be less mad. At least that makes some sense since that was behind on DLC for a while. Wait, so there's crossplay, but the console version is behind still? Let's just get this deep grey. And I see I've missed something on the hair. And get some lines at the back there just to show the movement of the follicles. Not anymore, they got the DLC, but I imagine it's some weird netcode situation. I don't know, it just sounds strange. I wouldn't think that was I wouldn't think there'd be any issue. I wouldn't think it would be behind if crossplay was already there. Mm. Hmm. There we go, that's better. Mm. I blame Sony and Nintendo. I don't know about Sony, but Nintendo I know are very, very, very closed about everything. But I also need to get my hands on Darkest Dungeon 2 after I finish the first one, but I guess that might not happen due to my Darkest Dungeon save I made for stream just breaking for no reason. Oof. Sony has been very against crossplay. Well, actually, yeah, well, that makes right, yes, because Sony has PlayStation and they want to keep their stuff exclusive to their platform. Very few games on PlayStation, even if a game has crossplay on other consoles, Sony is still a hard no, yeah. They really want people to buy theirs and get back to here, let's get something for the teeth. Which will be off white. DEC1. Because there's always a little bit of yellowing on them. Oh dear, did I? All the recent COD games have been crossplay all over due to I don't know the reason. Nintendo claims it's because of safety concerns. They can moderate what happens on their platforms, but not necessarily what interacts with others. In all likelihood, there's financial considerations going on as well. Also, there's the matter of Nintendo Switch Online. And Xbox bought their developers, I believe. Quite possibly. It's the But yeah, the Nintendo thing kind of makes sense. And it's also that they're Nintendo at least have the argument that their consoles are built different. they they have their very unique peripherals and they do, to their credit, tend to make more out there control schemes for a lot of things. But I mean I don't play FPS, playing usually unless I'm on controller. And Nintendo and Sony are the only companies insisting on exclusive. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Microsoft doesn't need to, really. They don't benefit as much from it because yes, they could sell more Xboxes, perhaps, but they also practically own the they also practically speaking own the PC market because most computers run Windows. So it's so they still benefit um, by making things crossplay between what they do. Um, Nintendo wants to keep all their stuff proprietary, and Sony the same. Sony have the same thing of having a console to have a stake in holding on to. Let's grab this and darken it. At the very least at the very least with Nintendo, as I say, I still don't necessarily agree with console exclusives, but I do get Nintendo's circumstances because they make a good number of titles as well. They have several IPs exclusive to their platform, and they have the point that um and they've and they have the point that they're the ones making a console that handles quite differently to a lot of others. Sony doesn't really have that excuse. They might have a console, but their console isn't anything special. Maybe we should get back into Warframe or Destiny since I know there's a crossplay and all things. Sony is just bad. Nintendo largely isn't a company that makes video games, it's a company that makes video game consoles, and their games give people an excuse to buy them. So if they don't make their brands exclusive, they can't sell as many consoles. Yeah, and they have a few, and they do still have a few IPs that they've kept to themselves. Um, I mean, their stuff is portable now. Guarantee if they built a console with modern stuff for portable play, it'd sell like hotcakes. Um, hmm, hmm. As I understand, there are often also limitations on who will put things onto a Nintendo console because they have a load of different things to take into consideration. Mm, mm. Oh no, that's still that. I don't want to make her eyes teeth yellow. That's Nintendo also keeps in mind the general family appeal. Yeah, they've, as I said, that they have reasons. They have things they can actually lean on as giving value to their particular brand of things, and they do have a whole brand of it. Ultimately, don't. Yet I've seen loot games in the eShop. I think that's a more recent thing, right? It's, or at least or at least it's the result of them starting with a family-friendly appeal and then not really sticking with it. All right, eyes. Hazel eyes. Okay. Either way, I need more zombie media in games to upgrade my zombies and their lore. It bothers me that I can see where you missed a spot in the eyes. Um, I haven't finished with the eyes yet, but I was getting the, I was going to get the color code for it. Today's AE7618. That does not. It says this is Hazel, but no, it doesn't feel like it to me. Slight sliver of grey. Uh, right eye, outer corner. Um, there? I, I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing it. I also may be mad. Right on from where I'm looking, right outer corner. E. Uh, I couldn't see it. Your eyes are better than me. Your eyes are better than mine, apparently. It really was. It really was. I think you might be going a little bit crazy. And I'm going to go back and put a little bit more line work down for these because the eyes need more attention. Mm. There's. Hmm. And I'll put the light bits in later. But, Oh, and I always forget to actually put these on, so we're going to ad-lib some eyebrows. So a decent brush size. Oh, no, not in the lineup, please. Fortunately, I don't actually need to do much on the eyes to make these things look angry. If this becomes a VOD, I'll screenshot and send it to you. It will. The VODs automatically get loaded at the moment. I've got everything set up so there's no copyrighted music on or anything. There's this stuff isn't. Dilate the pupil if you want a bit of angry. Maybe. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh no. Just the pupil just takes over the eyes. Oh yes, yeah, and just the couple of lines. No, dilate means big. Oh, maybe. Might work both ways. Oh, no, it is both, but it means both things. I was going to say one horizontal line, two diagonal lines on opposite sides. Hmm. Oh, uh, the hmm, put a couple across here just to. No, that's gentler. No, that doesn't. Hmm. Yeah, this. I'm not sure about this one. The horizontal one's sure, but I also want to try the new Unleashed game, but then we don't do scary. I kind of have trouble with horror games too. I got through Dark Descent. I never played Machine for Pigs. I'm a bit too twitchy, though I suppose that might be the perfect thing for this kind of medium. Hmm. Little Nightmares and Ghostwire. And Ghostwire was the one you were talking about relatively recently, wasn't it? Back on there. Yeah, the kind of spirit, uh, the one with all the cyberpunk one, or the cyberpunk-ish one. I mean, it's just Shibuya. I'm I couldn't again. I wasn't remembering details very well. Let's get some bronze. Everything bad in games that take place in Japan always happens in Shibuya. I have heard the I have heard the name before, yes. And to be fair, there are a lot of very dense cities in Japan. There's they have relatively little space and have to put a lot into it, with a fairly large population by for the space. No, no, line up, no. It's also why all the bad stuff in America goes to New York. Yeah, very very easily shown skyline, and it's the classic thing of Earth when looked at by aliens. It's just America. And before Fall gets upset, yes, I am aware of this little section here. I think this one's on the line out. Yes, I can go. I consider doing this in silver, but I like bronze, and it makes things stand out more. Plus, this was not the starting armor. This was handed, so I, I do what I want. I might have some mild OCD, legitimately, possibly. People can just get bothered by little things sometimes. Doesn't take OCD to be irrationally annoyed by something, but you might. Either New York or the DC metro area. I mean, Russia, yeah, Russia is always Moscow. and and it's pretty much always that England is just London. Most of the UK is just London. Or or Cardiff. You get Cardiff. Let's make fun of a place, then it's random Florida city. If it's a if it's meant to be some kind of if it's meant to be some kind of moral lesson or um, some kind of point regarding politics and yeah, politics and crime and all that, it'll be Detroit. America is sometimes LA. If they need a beach location, Florida man would detract from the moral. American game developers are not subtle. I would just say America is not very subtle. American humor in particular has a very blunt approach to it. Got me in a it sparked a few unfortunate discussions, given that I had to sometimes explain the more dry and the more dry self-deprecating humor that we have over here. Very blunt force trauma. I don't know if I'd go. I I wouldn't necessarily call it a head injury, but it is just very expected. Most zombie games in the US always happen in LA. Hmm. I wouldn't know. I don't play many zombie games. I find zombies very boring. Even the more the modern ones, when they've gotten things like the clickers, just a lot of the a lot of the conventional villain creatures, the vampires, the zombies, the werewolves, or the classic fantasy group of monsters, just kind of doesn't really jive with me very well. I make them work, but it's not media type that I would typically consume. The zombie craze barely missed me, so while I do get annoyed, I'm at least willing to see zombie things. I'm just indifferent. It's not like I take any particular offense to it. I just find them kind of boring. Oh, I missed that bit in his helmet. Get down. I can just go over this, because that'll just be the silver. This Valkyrie could have turned out a lot worse. Like essentially making a whole character in a few moments. True, I'm sad about Redfall sucking though and Arcane not wanting to do it in the first place. Um oh, 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 that's weird, my alt key got stuck on. Yeah, it is a little hard to see, and I'm especially given but there are four wings here, which does at least stand out a little. But even then, it's not even a normal angel. There's no there's no be not afraid here. Probably not, but I gave this one 4 wings because I like having 4 wings on things. I like the aesthetic of 4-winged creatures in general, even 6. Historia has 4. No, no, she doesn't. She has the floating ring thing. Oh, is that really? Hmm. Wow, that's hmm. I have to adjust Nightbot a little. That was a little bit, it's being a little bit forceful here. Or I guess Fall is just talking enough to set it off. Okay, and then we go to. Then we want to grab silver for the burb. Gonna put that up to there. A little bit longer again. I'm personally partial to older traditions, like not necessarily horrifying, but like weird things that make no sense, like wings that aren't connected to the back. Funnily enough, Giselle has those. It's one of the things that she can do as one of as a spell. The color code for silver is Cococo. Damn, not quite. Oh, get this. These little, these little toes, these little claws, talons rather, is harder when I refuse to reduce the brush size. I must admit, I've been coming around more to the idea of angels that that are that kind of more unknowable. There is an appeal there as a world building design, but I'm for this campaign at least uh using Pathfinder psychopomps, which are at least mostly humanoid. The one that they've been working with that unexpectedly survived uh, is a bit like is a proper bookworm, a uh, lamia kind of lower body made out of parchment. What else here can I make? I'll put it around here as well. Hmm. Then, yeah, I think I'm going to have to pick a brighter color um for the cloth, just to make it, or at least something a little less earthen and stony, because there's a lot of stone here. I can do stuff with the hammer, with the haft of the hammer as well. Oh, and a really easy way to get a stone texture in a few moments. Or at least to get the, or at least to get a stone texture that I can use. And either way, the idea of someone being just good is rather nice, given how many people insist on being grey AF. Is this still in in the uh, in the realm of TTRPGs? Because if not, I may have accidentally a thought there. Yes, also comics and TV movies. Yeah, I think it is. I think the reason that they tend to go with the at least more morally grey is that it's actually really hard to write compelling good in a way that people won't often find boring. Um, like it's I don't know if you've seen the OSP on Superman, satirizing him, his development, that kind of thing, about how in depth of a character how in depth of the character the guy is, when he on the surface seems quite simple. And I was one of the people who didn't really like Superman, didn't really appeal to me because I didn't see any depth to him, and it's probably not helped by the fact that I don't read the comics. I'm not involved in comics really at all. I have a few of those I have a few web comics that I used to read, but for the most part I've missed out on a good amount of the lore for these characters. Just picked up a bit by osmosis. And when I was younger, I watched some of the Superman cartoons. But that's one of those examples of just someone who is inarguably good. And uh, after watching that, I realized, yes, it's it's handled quite well. But making someone, I also blame Injustice. Yeah, the Injustice in the kind of the realism age, where superheroes started getting the whole more violent thing, and how we got things like The Boys. Uh, that said, Invincible is doing kind of a good job, because Mark is inarguably just a good guy. He has a couple of points of development which make him question himself, but he is inarguably good, as dark as that series gets. In the comics, that still sticks. Well, that's sort of the point, isn't it? That Mark is inarguably a good guy. There's if he wasn't, then it wouldn't then the thing wouldn't work very well. I enjoy fighting, even including superhero infighting. Hmm, it's it's the execution that bothers people, I think. Like there's those things can still be fun, but someone beeping their car horn at 8 o'clock. Amazing. Now, granted, The Boys TV show is leagues better than the comic at least. Violence is my best friend. Well, no, I can't say that because Kafur's my best friend. That is adorable. Even if Fool does sometimes wake up and choose violence. Yes, I follow Skipper's sentiment here. Just adorable, really. Very sweet. Now, I haven't watched too much realistic gore, but they changed a lot of everything. I wake up and choose to be angry all day. That's bad for your health. It's gonna give you, that's gonna give you heart problems, I'm sure. The I see the need for I see the fun in the cinematography of it. I like cinematic fighting, but oh, just choose you wake hating up because you hate waking up. Personally, I think we could use more actual martial arts fighting movies. Yes, I am entirely on board with that. But then I think pretty much any IP that features a significant amount of fighting is bettered by having actual skill within the martial arts. I fully agree with that. It's why I enjoy the Ip Man movies for that because even if everything is quite overstated, there is proper martial arts being done as well. But then Jackie Chan is old now, Bruce Lee is dead, and I think Chuck Norris retired from making movies. Yeah, yeah, lack of skill only works if you're Superman or an equivalent. Yeah, kind of it does. But then that's the thing. The thing is, even then, Superman knows martial arts. He's um like yeah. Well, he can't be best friends with Batman. Of course, he knows. Well, it's not the uh. Well, Superman has it's he learned martial arts in other places. I don't think he learned them from Batman. Hmm. Right, now we start getting to the more difficult bits, deciding where to put the various leathers and such. let's go with... drag this in and steal the color. Superman and Batman's friendship is a wonderful dynamic. It's not something I have ever paid particular attention to, but I get it. That's what I'll say on the matter. And over here, no, that's weird. Oh, that's what happened. Yeah, and it's a good dynamic as well. Those two play off each other nicely. Now, if only whenever they make Wonder Woman evil, they'd make her less likely to kill children. Hmm. What am I thinking? No, the gloves shouldn't even be. Gloves shouldn't even be the same leather. I need to remember I'm working with technically two different groups of material coming together for one thing. Let's grow the selection 1 pixel again, down to here. Okay. Now I'm aware of that little white streak, that's the leg. These little nuggets here are bothering me now. Well, let me catch up on chat a second. Honestly, I also agree this as well. Then I could like the trio unconditionally because they did a lot explicitly. Shazam. DC goes way too dark. At least Marvel has fun with their stuff even when it's serious. At least in the comics, movies need to work on their tone immensely. Yeah, the the Marvel movies, they keep going too much in the other way, and it's the problem of everything is quips, but it's not necessarily very funny. Um, John Constantine is quite cool, yes. Lucy is I think a fan of that as well, because that's the kind of that's also going magic at a price, and that is, if nothing else, interesting. Like they need to do what they did with Loki, because Loki feels like Thor 1 and Loki and 2 Loki more than Thor 3's shenanigans. Hmm. Which one? Hmm. I. It's interesting hearing someone favor. Uh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, part of the thing with Loki is that, well, his development got undone and then speed ran, which was an interesting decision to make. Okay, now we do the bits that are naturally Giselle's leather with a slightly lighter leather, I think. I love the fact that Constantine is a normal guy who dabbled in demonology, summoned a demon at a concert, the demon killed everyone there, and so on. Now he's a demon hunter. Constantine got it very wrong and now tries to help. Constantine, Keanu Reeves, they did a movie for Constantine with Keanu Reeves, didn't they? If I'm thinking of the same one. I can certainly at least forgive that because no one would enjoy Evil Loki exclusively or watching him relearn everything. We don't need a second Scarlet Witch. I'm still mad about how WandaVision is basically non-canon. Yeah, I, I kind of fell off after Endgame because I was already falling off when Civil War happened. But seems like a bit of a trashy move to have. Seems like a bit of a trashy move to have done that. He's also a smoker, which I like. More heroes need a niche like that, but Constantine is a drunk too, which I think fits his whole theme. I'm just not a fan of smoking. I've uh, I've lost people to that, so I got it why it was a thing. I understand why it is a calling card for some types of protagonists, but eh. Constantine is a Constantine is a mess who can appear as he normally does in a comedy series and still fit. Like, no joke, he appears for a scene in the Harley Quinn series and he's exactly the same as usual, but they play up his less respectable stuff only a smidge. It's the benefit of the character who is already tired of everything anything can throw at him. It's what I do with Hannah. There's nothing new, so it's just all the same. So they can react to it in the same way, or can react to it without feeling like an awkward tonal whiplash for what they're in. So the save file just lagged. Just wish the animated DC stuff didn't so go dark that it needed a flashpoint again. Hmm, I've not kept up on that enough. The I watched some DC stuff relatively recently, but that was basically me going to watch Superman vs. the Elite and Red Sun because of the OSP recommendation. And yeah, those were quite good. context, everyone is either dead or maimed by the end. Yeesh. It was not fun. I can't imagine it would be. It's it's one of it's well isn't it one of the it's one of the IPs that has been mired in itself for so long that they are really struggling to find new stuff to do. The only happy guy at the end of his Trigon also knows actually Satan because he gets to fight Darkseid. Okay. What more? Right, the shoes. At least the upcoming Superman series looks fun. Yeah, that does. That does look kind of neat. That said, I feel like at least some people think it looks neat just because of Tomboy Lois Lane. Because apparently they decided, and I quote, that Superman has to be either cute or handsome in most shots. Hmm. Fair enough. What? Well, I'll take Tomboy Lois Lane. Aside from MJ and Marvel, she's been the most static. And to be fair, it is a nice look. She is cute, won't argue that. Hmm. Ah. Huh. Make sure nothing else is disappearing. Good. Everything's still there. Yeah, I can kind of see that from Owl House. Yeah. Again, I only watched a short amount of that. I probably should have watched more. There's a midge slowly floating up in the air in front of me. Back to this. And actually, because these lines are a bit thicker down here, we can be doing this. Expand just the one. Coloring's looking very nice, thank you. I'm still having some uncertainty about what I'll put for the colouring on the arms and the legs, because red is my go-to. But I believe you said that red probably wasn't going to be the colour. Which also makes sense, given that that's possibly got some associations uh, with the vampire's court, which she definitely wouldn't want to be associating with. It was a red dress that Theoline turned up in first, after all. A tan brown or beige would work in general, yes, but there's already a lot of very muted colours on this piece. As you can see, already a lot of dark stuff. So I'm kind of wanting something that's out from that a little. Um, hmm. Oh, right, that's the thing. I'll put in a bit of steel down here. Oh, no, not there, not there, there. And I'll put the little chainmail section in just here. Then a lighter beige. Again, maybe. The leather so far. Actually, I can do the shield as well while we're here. It's the same basic tone, after all. We have a little steel raven. I guess the haft of this should probably be metal as well. And then that doesn't quite get everything. What I may do is I may experiment with the colours a little for the cloth, just to see if there's something that pops out. God, Giselle coming back to the dens is going to be a very confusing sight for everyone involved. She vanishes from the face of the earth for a few months, and when she comes back, not only is she is she at least 10 levels up, but also has pink now. Giselle's Barbie era. Can't believe I said that, and I'm so sorry. Going to taper this in a bit more as well. Don't need all this canvas. Oh, and before I forget, Giselle shows up with a number of rings and then also asks, like, be not afraid. Except you, Renov, you should be afraid. Yes, Renov should be very afraid when she comes back because a vampire lord isn't exactly an ignorable threat in Pathfinder, but they are significantly less. Like they are pretty weak for what they are. Like, Renov will definitely have some other utilities rather than the default vampire lord because it's just so poor. That makes sense. Oh god. Okay. Adding noise, very easy way to add a stony texture to the hammer. Okay, let's zoom in here and start plonking down a few colours. Nothing I think in the pink and purple tones are going to work. I've already ruled out reds and blues because that'll be the same as the rest of the armour. Let's just put down a... No, that's too like the armour still. Lighten it a tad. For that, let's see if there's a decent... None of the greens look right, it's just Shrek. That one seems too light. 6E3BA. DFC double A 0. Maybe. Unworked beige cloth. See if we can get one more as an option. Uh, Dom, well, since I have you here, which of these four do you think suits? I'm thinking 1 or 4 because because the green would definitely stand out against the blues and the kind of the red leather stuff. Just for the cloth pieces. Or I suppose I could if I go with 1 and 4, I can put 4 on the arms, 1 on the legs, or the other way around. Up to you as a thought. If he's still around to be watching. Like, well, uh, hmm. Density, I'll say that sounds good. 4 on the arms and 1 on the legs. I want to see it look. I want to see how it looks with the other colours around it. Okay, fair enough. Let's just grab this then. Exclude these. And I will drag these out. And let's see if we can apply that. So we're saying 4 on the arms and 1 on the legs. Oops. Quite. There we go. I don't know about you, but that already looks right for someone who is part of an organized group. Given she's part of the Feather Cloaks, that kind of gives it a. Oh dear, there's a. Oh no. There it is. And I'll remove Shrek from the knee pad. Is it on the other side? No, that one should be closed off. So let's try selecting it this time. Okay, we got it that time. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her. Oh, brain fart, got the wrong menu. Back, expand the selection a little, and right layer. Okay, so ignoring that line down there for a minute, which I will remedy. How's that look to you? How's that look to you so far? Because I think that looks right. Because they're still kind of muted colors, and they would, I think, blend in enough with with any sort of similar greens that come from our home. Now I just have to go around here because for some reason it's not picked this up. It really didn't like this line. There was a whole extra bit. Maybe I was working at 50% opacity at that point, or 50% softness. Okay. Now I just need to put a darker leather on the boots and finish that off. Oh, and some dark grey for the laces. Or I could go with the green laces just to keep a little bit of a theme going. Let's go with this. And then just go over it to clean it up. Couldn't tell you why my version does this. It's never neatened. It's never been. It's always been bad at getting those little extra spaces. And I think I'll give the green laces a try. Let's use the same color as on the legs. 2. Grab this, just quickly do in here. No, wait, that's that one, is it? No, no. Now we'll do the laces in the green. Final splash of colour without making anything too bright and out there for someone who, even if she's not necessarily stealthy, doesn't want to be too visible. If you can get, after all, if you can get the jump on someone, you have an advantage, even for a little. See little specks of brown here, and that is bothering me. Little specks of white amidst the leather. If you're going to be part of a faction, you should look the part he is. I don't entirely know what the Feather Cloak faction looks like, but other than the titular Feather Cloaks, they have those. Slide to the right. Okay, I can go over here and I think delete these. Oh. And I see a little bit of green that has escaped notice. A little bit of white that needs to become green. Mm-hmm. And the final dark loop of it to be the cord. This is going to be a very fine little bit of work to follow these lanes. I've noticed I have a peculiar workflow. I don't really sketch, not very much. You may you may have seen, those of you who were here for the first one of these, that I did a very kind of rough outline for things, but from there I pretty much go straight into line art. For some reason the sketch just doesn't hold a place in my head. That should be green as well. Is that unusual? On the rare occasion I try my hand at drawing, I'm the same way. Line art and then immediately colour. I think it's... if I can organise my thoughts here, it's a common way, I think, for people who aren't so used to it, especially in the case if you're like me, or I suppose like you, where the reason we're drawing in the first place isn't necessarily just a particular love for drawing, and it starts from having a specific idea and really wanting to be able to capture it and going straight to that. But it seems I do seem that most of the time, like most people do tend to, if they are generally committed artists, will tend towards at least some kind of rough sketch beforehand that will then be done line art. If I expand just the 1 pixel. Oh, wrong thing. Wrong color. Had to stretch there a moment. Oh, and this gem. I'm fond of blue for gems. Particularly a kind of... Let's go with something slightly tinted purple, actually. Alright. I think, unless something pops out to me now, the base colours are done. Oh. Oh, that's irritating. Okay. And a tiny little bit of green there. And there's that section which is left over from line art. Same with that. That's dust on my monitor. real quick, I'm going to save versions of this. Oh, no, dear. Need to unplug and replug the tablet. It is suddenly refusing to zoom properly. Give it a few seconds. Nope, it's still not. What on earth is this doing? Okay, that's working. Brush size. Okay. It's complaining a lot. So every single other function of this scroll wheel works fine, except the one I want, which is the zoom one. I don't want to be doing this manually, so just a moment. I'm just going to quickly throw up the background. I'm going to throw up the image for Be Right Back, and I'm just going to take a second to restart the Photoshop. Okay. And we're back. Wait, no we're not. The hell? There we go. Now I suppose with the line art and the flats out of the way, we can do the shading. And the brightness, any of that stuff. Shading and lighting. Right. Shading first, because that's easier. So for moderate shade, and start in these spaces. Oh, I know what I can do as well. Set inverse. This will just make it a little bit easier to not accidentally be shading pure white. So we'll get that in there and in here. Or let's get a couple of partial shades, because it's all going to be relatively dim in there, but the head is blocking one section. lighten the tone just a little. Works to me, I think. We have the chainmail area, which we'll be a little bit cheekier with. Then we shift to the lighting for this bit. That's going to be a soft light. Then at a decent distance, do a little bit more on it, but it's already looking vaguely like it. That's right, there we go. Is it me or does the I'm hoping everyone else can hear the music, because this one has a really sinister vibe to me for some reason. And this is meant to be the lo-fi stuff. This is meant to be the lo-fi stuff. That's strange. That's hmm. That's very peculiar then, because because I've got Soundstripe up that's meant to be providing music, but apparently not. How helpful it can be. How helpful these extensions can be sometimes. This shouldn't exist. Neither does that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out for Friday. And I want to put a little bit more line art on. No, not size 15. just those little creases. Back to shading. It's been suggested to me to try low opacity shading on things, but the problem is then if you put some shading on an area and then want to uh, move and add to an end of it, you can't really do so without them crossing over. Like this one's going to get a line up here because the weapon's in the way. Hmm. No, that needs to be a lighter tone. These ones are going to have a little overhang as well, so they'll be down to there. Is that what? Is that white in the line art? No? Oh, I see. It's grey that never got fully filled in. There we go. But now I do need to also put this back to normal so I can grab the tone I was using. Suppose I could have found it in the... That was a pain sound from me. Whenever I modify layers, the app, so the program then decides that I must only be wanting to do that with the scroll wheel, which is still only set to zoom, not to alter layers. this is... I'm not sure if we'll be able to start Briar this stream. Unfortunately, I was hoping we would. That might be something I'll have to save till Friday though. I need to go back to that darker one. It has a play button here. I don't think I can use that. No. Oh, my eyes. Ah, there we go. Ah, up there. It occurs to me actually most of this area would be shaded just because of the fact that there are things blocking a downward light source and the shield's in the way. They would probably be a bit um, like that, I think. Vague hand-shaped shadow on there. Now we're back to here, and all this stuff back here is going to be in shadow. Everything around to about here, I reckon. Maybe even further. A little further. Same over here. This is all of this. getting to the end of the Starker Shadows. At which point I need to see if I can remember how to do softer ones. There, got that one on there. So a band along here, just under this lip of metal. Oh, and down this inside seam. Same deal on this side. Just a bit thicker because we can see more of the leather. There it thins out again. Smaller brush for this. This little God, Tuesday I may have, but I heard bird noises honestly early on. Well, that's because the window's open, but I'm not sure about why there isn't any music. There should be. Oh well. View your installed extensions and activate the Soundstrap extension. Head back to the Stream Manager and choose the Soundstrap Quick Action. Choose the playlist and start playing. Very strange. Side, I've got all of them. Right. there's a little bit of green there. These shirts apparently really resist being coloured. And I'm going to darken the edge of the shield. Just a tad, and putting that onto it. Very necessary. Back up to that. Right, down here. Forgot to be putting the forgot to get my line up. Forgot to get my protection back here too. Yeah, sorry that there's apparently been no music this entire time. It was playing on my end and it was meant to be linked, so that'll be something I'll have to investigate. Motorbike. Yes, it's much quieter in here without that on. Mhm. Oh, and to about there. Let's clean this a little bit off here. That's probably going to expose some white. No. There it is. Okay. onto the softer shading, which I warn that I'm not that good at. Is that... no, that's too... okay, that'll... so there's a bit of a... this kind of... we'll need some under... I should need some here as well. There's going to be a fair amount of it on the shield, specifically this lower section. I'll need a fairly big brush for it as well. Shield is the largest, I think, solid piece here. Then back down to something a little more reasonable to put the edges on here. The blur tool is your friend for this. Smooths out the odd little lines. Oh, missed something here. Rest missed a couple of things. Here's one thing, yes. But I also missed the lines on these from the overlapping plates. Same over here. And here. And back here. Because again, I completely forgot to put the shading in from that big pauldron. Alright. Back to the soft stuff. A little bit darker. A little bit of stark shadow again from the gem, just a slight range around it. Too dark, too gloomy. Shading is probably the thing I'm worst at. I think I do fairly good line art now, and choosing colours isn't that difficult, but I definitely feel like the line art is a little less impressive. Oh, up here. Where else? There's also going to be an ever so slight fading down here. Here it'll be back here. Replaying Fable, and I'm reminded of a thing in it that I wish more games did. The game has legitimate ways to earn a lot of money really quickly and over time. uh, um, yeah, I think a lot of games that feature currency systems have something like that. As in, there's both a landlord system and a job system, and not so much having to loot and sell the pants off bandits. Yeah, I suppose that's a little less common. It is typically an adventuring based economy where you end up with more money than God by selling Omnigel. That said, that's possibly something to do with how most games with that kind of vibe that tend towards the looting and adventuring thing is because that's what the game's about. Not many are about you becoming an adventurer and a landlord at the same time. Plus you can affect the economy somewhat based on your actions, since a poor world makes things more expensive, and if your world liked you get discounts. Yeah, that's a that's a decent one. The essentially morality and popularity based discounts as opposed to just a perk that gives you deals. I like that. But no, the ones that are all about having a functional economy are oftentimes uh, their own thing. Like all of the tycoon style games, after all, which are about managing popularity and such. I know that's my I know it's Fable's built around adventuring and without and that's but you can fund the adventure in other ways. That's my point, is that most games are building for an experience, and for most games the experience of adventuring is tied up in the idea of getting money from adventuring rather than from income from holding down a job or being a landlord in this case. Yeah, really, being a landlord is just looting the bodies of people. You're just not waiting for them to be cold yet. Hmm. It does make things more interesting when there are those options, yes. It's just there's not many they show up in for I think not necessarily good reason, but reasonable cause. Like I can understand why they don't appear in a lot of things. Yes, the demon doors. I've never, like I said, I've not really played Fable, but I know about the doors thanks to Outside Xbox and that whole thing about talking about the strain about the requirements of doors, like how one asks you to put on some weight. One one door just be like, dude, you ain't thick enough. Oh, no, no, not that tool. I think that would have been fairly obvious to anyone, yeah. To, that's a very distinct ISP or USP. Adventurer, hit me with the chicken. What a demand. And it's in the graveyard of all places. Granted, it does eat said chicken, which is impressive because it's made of stone. That sounds very abruptly like it's very much trying to be that way. Uh, and hello, other Don. Welcome to the stream. To be fair, I think they're bored. Probably, it's not exactly a lot in life that is very uh, exciting and adventurous. Just canonically in the first game, there's a door that just wants you to hurt it a little. Okay, it's that kind of. We're going there, I see. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, Don, you've walked in on a discussion of the of the mommy door. It seems. Finally, it also gives a bit of canon that typically these guys are impervious to pain mostly, as in order to hurt it a little you need near max physique. Door mummy, I've come to bargain. Well, I will hear the offer, but I'm not actually a door, I'm simply stuck in one. I could always get full going on Fate Law. No, no, please don't. I do not have the endurance to. I do not have the endurance to listen to a full explanation of fate, no one, just as no one else can. Just as there isn't anyone who can truly handle the entire Electron, the Warhammer 40k lore. There's concerning two doors that really want to see marriage. I will not do fate law unless asked. Thank you. It's a lot. Even if it's canon that Mordred has mummy and daddy issues, that's not surprising in the least. With any series ever, there's almost always someone with something like that going on. Oh, that doesn't help. That certainly doesn't help. Just be just be casually related to both your parents in two different ways. Uh, I'm just listening to Kamikat music and eating cheddar bacon stuffed chicken. Um, that sounds delicious. Give me some stream attacks. I made turkey and bacon stuffed pasta recently. I'm fine. Fate has broken me. Hunter has decided to play Fate Grand Order, so that's not helping. Over my dead body. Last person who tried to steal food from me get their hand pinned to the table with a fork. Okay, too far. Also, I wasn't trying to steal, I asked. I was being polite, so there's definitely no need for that kind of response. To be fair, I have threatened to eat people who try to take my food. Sorry, I'm friends with way too many goblin VTubers. Yeah, that scans. Not that you're specifically friends with them, but the whole yeah. You think if they wouldn't respect property ownership, especially of food? Exactly. I was asking. I would like food. I make plenty of it for people already. I was only hoping. That's not very kind of you to say. Oh, opacity needs to be up that tiny fraction again. Fablewish is wildly inconsistent. It is not. I disagree with that most vehemently. It's not inconsistent, it is consistent regarding the individual. Each individual sets their own etiquette, what they favour in their home. I don't like being accused of theft, for example. Which I do not think is an unreasonable thing. The rules of hospitality are strictly enforced, yes. Just be at least polite to the fairy in her stream. I'm going to shift onto lighting now. How is that for brightness? Going to need a little bit more than that. And a little bit lighter. That's more like it. Oh, okay, this grey is mostly immune to lighting effects too. So I know it's coming up to about the time, but that I would be finishing up. But I think I'm going to keep going until I can get the shading done at least. I'd like to complete Giselle, so I can start on Briar next one. Now, this is a bad one for that. Lower opacity again. But seriously though, Don, that does sound really tasty, and I hope you're enjoying it. Go brighter and a smaller brush. I was drawing some flowers not earlier but the other day, and they came out kind of plasticky because I was too harsh with the lighting on them. Hence why I'm trying to take a slightly more gentle approach this time. One of those things that looks fairly good when it's zoomed out with the rest of the picture, I think. Anything else with cloth? Yes, here we go. Oh, that the mention of the goblin thing that put me in mind of Franca, the one session that I got to use her with when and we encountered we got a we ended up with a goblin we ended up with an explosives focused goblin who we all did the whole thing of meeting in a tavern, and the first thing, and my character was the last in. The first thing Franca does is walk in with a pie for everyone and start handing out slices. And when the goblin pushes past the kids to try and jump the queue, she scolds him back into place. It's just a chuckle-worthy moment to see to listen to the player character play this quite chatty, and the forward goblin is suddenly very sullen and abashed as he is told by this middle-aged uh, water genasi woman that he must wait in line to have a slice of food. But I never got to play that campaign, though at the same time it was only ever meant to be a side thing. It was a fun session, such as it was. Yeah, it was very, very short-lived, as to no one's surprise, as it was mostly meant to be a lore dump and session zero kind of thing. Um, but it was entertaining. Got to play another sort of mother for a little while. Franca's lovely. Some confidence issues that I'm working on with her, but she's gotten better. Took her to visit one of the groves a little while ago, when I was passing through that area. There, that one probably would be showing a little bit of brightness there. Most of these wouldn't, though. Oh no. Coming over the coming over the hill of her arm is the grey Amogus. The grey Amogus. Need to dip into the shading and clear away this. Yeah. instantly unfollowed. How dare you produce the Amogus flick? Look, I didn't make I didn't put those there. This isn't my drawing. I don't know what you're talking about. How dare you insult me in my own home? Alright. Any more for any more? Just a little. No, wrong thing. Oh, I know what I need to do with this. No. That's about that. God, that would be a tragic turn of events to lose it to an Amogus. Okay, that looks better than what I was trying to do. Those streaks should be at least a bit blurry. Blurrier than I was making them before. Let's retry those bits of shading there. Keep them a little tighter to the eyes. brush, no complete softness. Alright, I'm not sure I'm going to get much better on this today. So, what do you think, Don? Either Don can comment, but it's the one with Skipper attached that this was made for. Actually not. I think there is something that I can do a little bit better on this actually. Just a bit. If I can get the right tones. A little bit smaller. Opacity high. Wrong thing. Just going to make these stand out more. The reflections on this were just they seem too muted. So I'm just going to spice these up and then I think we'll call it there. Once that's done, make it look nice and shiny. Turns out this is the reason why she's not stealthy. It's because she's preceded by this guy. Okay, that looks better to me. That actually shines, whereas the armor is meant to stay more muted. Uh, the the bronze on there properly rises out. That's the final piece, at least as far as my skill goes. So in that case, I think we'll be ending this one here. Thanks to everyone who came to watch, and you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Skipper. I'm glad I got the chance to work on this piece. It's nice to be giving Giselle a something that's properly her as opposed to art that was simply found online. Um, next stream will be Friday, where I'll be starting with Briar, a much more athletic figure, or svelte, I suppose is a better word. Oh, nice! You'll be able to be there to see it then. That's good. That's good to hear, and that's why I wanted to do this today, especially so that Don would definitely be able to be here to see his character completed. Um, Other than that, yeah, Friday. So Friday will be art. Saturday I will be continuing on with the Surge games. I started on that sort of out of nowhere as Timesia ended last week, and it seems like this and I got back into it, and I remembered I really do enjoy it. Uh, there is there is the link to the existing socials. Twitter is currently where is currently where I post a lot of the art that I complete, and where I currently advertise, though I'll be broadening that going ahead, and VODs show up on YouTube after a day or so. More socials are coming still. I'm working on Mastodon, working on Discord, and there is and if anyone particularly enjoys what I'm doing, be sure to follow, share this with anyone who might be interested, and uh, yeah, I'll I think then I'll be signing off, and I'll hopefully be seeing everyone again on Friday. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll send this to I'll be sending this to Don shortly. Bye for now.